Hello, welcome to The Root to Success, where you hear how leaders walk away from what no longer fits and build something aligned, intentional, and meaningful. Today's conversation focuses on alignment, not success on paper, not titles, alignment between what you do and who you are. Our guest, Samir Abukhodair, started in engineering and spent years in corporate tech, moving across roles in sales, operations, and strategy. On paper, it works. In reality, it didn't. He described it simply, his soul was leaving. I know that feeling, sadly. So he made the decision when people avoided. He walked away. What followed was not a straight path. It was an experimentation, teaching, rebuilding, and ultimately creating a company rooted in one question. Does this actually help people? In this episode, we break down what it looks like to build a business and a life that is grounded in purpose, systems, and the human side of work. Samir, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
By the way, I just love the tree in the background. I love the green.
Thank you.
All right. So let's start with your journey. You followed the traditional path into engineering and tech. At what point did you realize it was not the path you wanted, and what led you to walk away?
Yeah, I think about this a lot. And there's a lot of, I feel like I took a very meandering path to get to where I am. And I think because of that path, it has led me to have more reflection on the things that I've done. And I went into engineering in the first place is because I like engineering. I like building things. I like creating things. I like understanding how things work. When I got into the industry, I realized that wasn't really what it was about. And it kind of, I don't know, I was young. I felt like there was more out there I wanted to explore. So I moved to New York City and I got into tech. I thought I had it made. It was awesome. I was in hip tech startup companies. It was during the, whole Google NatPod era in the 2010s. And it was really exciting. I thought I was made. I thought I was going to be there forever. And I quickly realized that I was really stressed out about stuff that was only specific to a very specific role within a very specific company where that company is not necessarily there anymore. And so I started to think, I felt kind of lonely about it. And I was like, why am I so stressed out about all this stuff? And I jumped around. I was like, hey, is the grass greener on the other side? And I was at a really great company. And as I asked myself, is the grass greener? It turns out the grass wasn't greener when I jumped to a new company. So I bounced around a little bit and trying to find myself. And then there was kind of a final straw. I was like, nope, I'm going to walk away from this. I didn't feel good with what I was doing anymore. And I didn't think that I was helping people. So I started to reflect on that. And I said, I'm done. I'm going to walk away from this. And I did. I started to build Creatures Of, and haven't looked back since.
I love that story. Where do you think you got your courage? I have to ask that. I know that wasn't one of the questions I sent you, but we've got to know, where did your courage come from to be so true to yourself?
It's something that I thought about a lot. And I kind of grew up and I was never able to talk. I grew up in rural Minnesota, like northern Minnesota. And I feel like I wasn't able to talk to adults very well. And I don't really know why. I just felt it was a very sheltered, very passive aggressive kind of culture environment in which I grew up. So I wasn't able to have a real conversation. New York changed that for me, for sure. Like New York City, it's
Yeah.
very, it's very blunt, very bold. I married my partner. She's from Manhattan. She grew up in Manhattan. So, she grew up on the stoops in Manhattan. I grew up in, the suburbs of Minnesota. It's a very different childhood. But she taught me a lot, and she really helped make me not afraid of things. And I was actually working in tech, and I remember meeting a CEO for a company one time as a client of ours, and I was nervous. It was all this, I don't know why CEOs always seem taller than in real life. I'm like, oh my God. And I remember seeing this person, and then I met them in person, and it was a great conversation. It was fine. And I kind of realized right there, I was like, why was I scared? Like, why was I nervous about this? And I realized if someone else is doing this, then I can certainly do it myself, and I'm not going to be scared about it. And so, I don't know, I just stopped being scared of things. And that's hard. I guess that sounds easier said than done, but it was something that I recognized that there's other people doing things as well. And why can't I be one of them?
No, it sounds like you just took one step at a time, and that with every step you pushed yourself and grew. I think it's brilliant. And I had to ask. So thank you for sharing. Okay, let's talk about your soul. You felt like your soul was leaving. Um, that's something many feel, but they struggle to act on. Um, and maybe this is kind of related to the courage question, but what made you take action when others stay? Like I literally just got off a call with a man that you could see bits of his soul leaving because he's so unhappy in his job. So what made you leave?
Well, I recognized I was unhappy, and I kind of thought to myself, I was getting older, and I was like, man, do I really want to be doing this for the next 30 years? And more importantly, do I want to look back and say that's what I accomplished, or what have I accomplished within that? So I started reflecting on that, and I don't know what changed when I was younger, I don't know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, I wanted to be a scientist, I wanted to have all these exciting jobs, and then I'm stuck at a computer working in tech for 80-hour weeks for what? And I was like, no, I can't do that forever. That's not what I need to do. And so I just had a flip of the switch there. And in the meantime, I had started teaching a little bit, and teaching kind of opened the door a little bit for me to be able to say, holy smokes, I love doing this and I love helping people. And I saw when I was teaching students, their eyes light up when I was teaching about mitochondria or teaching them how to solve math problems or whatever. And it was just like, I was like, holy smokes, that's something that I could actually do and I would be proud of. And the crazy thing is, my whole family, my siblings, they're teachers.
Oh,
And I came back to that like after, I don't know, 15 years of me. I was like the cool New York brother, oldest brother that left home, went off to New York and did his thing. And they're teachers in Minnesota, and they've been doing it now for a long time. And so now that I'm like kind of back in that realm, it feels kind of coming back home a little bit.
okay. So you got to kind of wonder if it's nurture versus nature there, the education piece.
I guess my parents are not in social work or anything. My dad's an engineer. My mom's a nurse, so she does care for people. She knows, nurture people. But I don't know. They were never in that industry. It was very strange how it just kind of all clicked, especially with my brothers. They're both wonderful teachers in Minnesota.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So great segue in. After leaving, you started tutoring and discovered your passion for teaching. What did that experience reveal about how you work with people and what you're actually good at?
So in the tech industry, I'd actually realized with the last several years of my career, I was doing more teaching than coaching than I was actually like actual work. I was talking to clients, I was coaching, I was doing a lot of like creative project management, creative production, and producing. So I was working with the design team. I was coaching them on how to talk to clients, how to build things, how to design things, and do all this. I was coordinating all this. And then my last stint in tech was really working in enablement, which was basically helping people do things within the company. It was mostly revenue enablement. So I was helping people sell. I know it sounds gross, but that's what I was doing. And I realized that most of that was teaching. And so when I started teaching students and I started to see how I was actually helping the students, I quickly connected the dots there and realized that I can teach, and I can teach in a way that connects with people instead of just going through the material. People don't connect with material. Attention spans are extremely short right now, and they're going to continue to get shorter. And I recognized that I was able to connect the dots between the technology side of things, the technical side of things, and the people side of things, as well as the academics. So bringing all that together, I found myself in a bit of a unique position, especially with my meandering career that I've had. I wasn't just a teacher. I wasn't just a tech bro. I wasn't just an engineer. I had all these things that I was bringing together, which really helped me create a practice that is grounded in kind of that core helping people belief.
I love that. Okay. You keep doing perfect segues. I think you've planned it. So you built your company around that one core idea, helping people. How do you stay aligned with that mission when there is pressure to focus on revenue or growth?
Yeah, I ask myself this all the time. And it's kind of sucks sometimes, to be honest, because I recognize that, like, I'm not delusional. I know that we do need to make money in this world to survive. Like, I live in New York. I have an apartment in New York City. My wife and I built this small cabin upstate New York. And so, like, we're privileged and we feel lucky that we were able to do this. It's not, it's not like a mansion or anything crazy. It's a small home. Uh, but it's something that I'm I'm extremely proud of, and I'm happy to be able to do it. And the pressure that I get to make money is always there. I just adopted my son. He's 8, 9 weeks old now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yes. We just had his 2-month checkup at the pediatrician. He's 14 pounds, 2 ounces now. So just had him. So I feel even more pressure now to be able to provide and to be able to have, money to be able to buy things for him and give him what he wants. So that pressure is there. And there was a time when I was kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel from a financial aspect. And I realized, I was like, maybe let me try some old school sales tactics. Let me do some cold calls. Let me do some cold emails, some cold campaigns. And I got a lot of negative responses there. And that really didn't fit well with me. I was like, I didn't quit tech just to go back into this type of mode here. So I ended up saying to myself right then and there, I was like, I'm not ever doing that again. I'm going to work with connecting with people. I'm going to build a network. I'm going to build a community. And because people see the work that I'm actually doing and they see that I believe in the work that I'm doing, funny enough, they're more inclined to actually pay me to work with them. And that just continues to build. And so everybody wants that quick win, that quick satisfaction on like sales. I just made a sale. I just did this. And I've done that before. But those are one and dones. Those are not long going relationships. And it's not something that lasts. I have, a few clients that are long-term clients that I work with on a regular basis. And when I started working with them, I didn't charge anything. I worked with the pilot program. I said, let's get to know each other a little bit first. And those have turned into much larger, lucrative long-term projects. And it's been so much better and I didn't do any sales. I just made connections with them. And it was way better. It is way better.
Connections are always the way to go. Always. I'm with you. The cold emails, all that, it never pans out. It's always about that connection and that relationship with the person and them seeing what you do. That's the long-term effective approach. One of the many places that you and I align business-minded is your holistic approach to your work and the way you focus on the person before the task. And that's something you made a comment in a last conversation that really stuck with me about that. Why is that critical? And in your opinion, what happens when leaders, and I think for this question, let's define leaders as even like middle management, anybody who's a leader, ignore that.
Yeah, because I don't know, when you're doing that type of work, there's always some rule book or strategy guide or process order of operations that you must follow. I teach math, so order of operations is very much a thing.
I love orders of operations. It makes everything work.
Yes. And it was very much a thing like people would have to follow in order to do this. I remember working for one of my bosses at one of the tech companies. He was very type A, and he would, to a T, he would have a manual for how to do the specific role, specific job. And not once in that manual was there ever an instance of, this is how you talk to someone, or this is how you are connecting with people. And for me, a little more loose, a little Wild West with how I do things, but I do like an organized operational foundation from which to build off. So I can scale very quickly based. I was just working with a client today and building an entire ecosystem. She has courses, she has a consulting practice of courses and everything that she's building. And we created this very straightforward foundation where she can scale into multiple channels. She can scale into building more courses. She can monetize content and monetize assets and monetize downloads and all this stuff. And it's very straightforward, simple content. So we stripped it all down. We simplified it. We made it something that's, much cleaner. But I didn't know that. I didn't have a guidebook going into that with her. I worked with her for a while. I said, all right, this is what we can do. And this is how we can simplify. This is how we can make this streamlined. This is how we can build something that's going to work for you long term. And then when she started to see that, she's like, okay, yeah, this really works. And funny enough, that turns into a longer term engagement for myself. And so now I've been working with, this particular client for over a year now. And it's been something that's been really a nice, very focused, streamlined engagement for me, as well as helping her.
I love it. Okay. So your consulting work connects systems, strategy, and the human side of implementation. What are the biggest gaps you see in businesses today when it comes to building systems that actually work?
Yeah, I mean, so many people say, obviously there's a lot of technology out there. Artificial intelligence is a thing. It is there. Everyone's using it. And it's something that I feel like until you're kind of organized here, there's only so many things that an app or a technology can do for you. And so I've actually had this question multiple times. People are like, hey, can you give me an app that helps me stay organized? I'm like, I can, but it's still about following through and understanding and prioritizing. And so this is where the connection happens. It's like I teach this to students and I teach this to adults and professionals as well. It's organize your day. It's a lesson that I give. And every single morning when I wake up, I have a bit of a routine, short routine, but it helps me prioritize what I have. I drink a glass of salt water, I'll brush my teeth, and I'll have my coffee, and I'll look at my schedule and just to wrap my head around it. Especially with students, Sunday scaries are very much a thing. Actually, for adults in the corporate world, Sunday scaries are way more of a thing, actually.
Yeah.
And it's the worst, right? Having to go back into work after a long weekend, and it's just like, oh my God, what do I have on my plate? What do I have to do? That fear, that anxiety doesn't come from knowing all the stuff that you have to do. It comes from not knowing what you have on your plate. And so organizing that and understanding what's on your plate makes you feel, even if you have a very busy day, it makes you feel like you're ready to tackle it.
Yeah, I agree. So I've got to ask, are you a paper planner or a digital planner guy?
Oh, digital for sure. I mean, I'm very techie, or I'm gonna say I'm not really tech. I'm not like a developer, but I'm able to connect the dots between all these things and also connect the human element to it. So when I do work with my digital life, I have it all synced. And it's simple. It's a simple system, but it works really well and it's all synced. So there's very minimal effort that I have to put into paper planning. But I do love mechanical pencils. They're like my favorite thing in the world.
I feel you. I have one too, and I still try to take hand notes as often as I can, even though I use a note taker. But I
Right.
can't get past a paper planner. There's something for me about writing out my to-do list every day.
Sure. And I feel that. And like I do some construction up here, up in the Catskills as well. And so I work on that with my partner as well. We have to do construction projects and we definitely have paper planners for tasks and projects and things that we have to do there. And that is something that when I'm sharing it with people, having something quick on the board that we can just kind of cross off as we go, it's very satisfying. And it's something that I still use to this day. But if it's like meetings or tasks or digital, things like that, that's all on my calendar. I'll actually block time out for those tasks on my calendar.
I do too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's
Great.
something a lot of leaders aren't doing anymore is blocking time.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the big question. I love to save the hard one for last. For someone listening who feels stuck or misaligned in their career, what is one practical step they could take today to start moving forward that feels more purposeful and sustainable?
It's right here. Just think about what's here, and that's what happened to me. It sounds cheesy, and when I started like talking about this idea, it was like the corniest, cheesiest thing I ever done, and I still do it every single day, and I believe it. And the more I do it, the more I believe it, the more real it comes. And I recognize that I'm helping people, and I said it on with my team yesterday. I was like, it's all here. If you just keep holding on to whatever that is. I work with a lot of teachers that get so in the system, they get jaded by the industry that they're in. I see it happen all the time. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It's always about, hey, do you feel good about the work that you're doing? And if you do, that will always bring you back to like the core reason that you did that in the first place. And if you keep coming back to that, you're going to start to not worry about that fluff that you see and or feel all the time. You're going to start to feel like, hey, this is really what I want to do. Or, hey, this is something that I don't really want to be doing. And that's going to help you start to look for things that you are passionate about. And the other thing, which is arguably the biggest thing, is talk to people and have a conversation about it. Like it's huge. Like I met you through a conversation like that. And that's why we're having this conversation. And it is so many people don't want to have a conversation. They don't know their neighbors. They don't know their community. Just be able to have that conversation with people. Like I've had deeper conversations with you than I have had with some of my family members in Minnesota. Right? Because it's like, we don't want to have this conversation. We want to shove it under the rug. It's uncomfortable. And so to be uncomfortable is to grow and to learn. And that's a huge, huge aspect of growing.
I have to say, as much as this is going to make me sound odd, and it's okay, I own being odd. I have learned to embrace the uncomfortable and just to force myself into that uncomfortable position, have the conversation, have the whatever. But I
Mm-hmm.
agree. My favorite thing is when I'm in line and talking to people around. I don't know the people at Walmart, but we all have to stand in line. We might as well have a good time while we're here, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Samir, tell us what is the best way to connect with you? So, if people are looking for a consultant that wants to, who can simplify and streamline things, who has a very holistic approach, how do they find you? How do they connect with you? What are those steps?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to my website, creaturesofconsulting.com. It's a very straightforward, very easy way to connect with me. I'm also on LinkedIn, which is, you can just look me up on LinkedIn, very straightforward. On the Creatures of Learning side, the education branch, I have kind of these tentacles of branches that I go from. So creaturesoflearning.com is also my education branch. And that's really good for talking through any ideas or thoughts that you have as far as education or even students. And I build specific learning packages and summer learning courses, fall and spring learning courses as well.
Summer learning, let me just shout out as a parent, someone who's worked in it. If you keep your kiddos reading and doing a little bit of learning every day over the summer, it prevents them losing a third. Is it up to a third of knowledge over the summer that kids lose?
Yeah, if not more, depending on what they're doing.
Exactly. So, all right. So check out Creatures of Learning. Check out Creatures of Consulting, and I guarantee you're going to have a great conversation. Samir, thank you so much for being so willing to be so vulnerable and to talk about things that I think take a lot of courage, but they're the conversations we need to have, right? Because as you keep saying, look to your heart, and you are so correct. I've completed 7 days of meditation, something I never thought I would do, but I'm starting to
Nice.
meditate.
Nice.
And some days are terrible, but I keep telling myself it's progress over perfection, and it's building that routine. It's showing up, and it focuses on the energy that you take out from your heart. And I have to say, it gives you such clarity. So focus on your heart, focus on what feels right, and move forward. And if you're looking for somebody who does appreciate a holistic approach, please reach out to Samir. And if you can't find him, reach out to me and I'll connect you. I'm happy to connect.